What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we are live. Dog Behavior Q&A episode 161, where we take your questions and try and answer them to the best of our ability. I think I missed some questions last time, and I'm going to somehow see if I can pull them up and answer them first, because that would just be fair, right? Okay, let's try and see if we can pull that up. I hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Okay, let's see. Did you guys see that post I made about the neutering, spay and neuter? I think the term is pediatric spay and neuter, and the effects of and how that affects dogs going forward. There's a comparison picture of a dog, two male dogs from the same litter. One got pediatric neutered, so neutered way too young, and the other didn't. And you should check it out because the difference is absolutely huge. So you should check it out. All right, let's start with some questions. Okay. Hey, Jeremy, we just started letting Boomer free roam in the house when we leave. He seems way less stressed, and so are we. But there's always something he gets into. He ate a pacifier twice, or a juice cup, or a pear. He even got it into his dog food bin. How can we get him to not counterserve? As soon as we get home, he already puts himself in his kennel with his guilty face before we walk into the door. You're gonna have to set traps for Boomer. So there's an old little trick you can do, but to put on the counter. So just put something that'll make noise, that'll easily, because I know Boomer, that'll easily deter him from doing it again. Just put pennies in a can and set it up to where, or you could even put pennies on a tray, like a cooking tray, and put it on the counter. Something where when he decides to put his paws on the counter, he gets something pretty loud and obnoxious coming back at him, and that'll probably be enough for that guy. So try that, check it out, and let me know how that goes. Brewer was neutered at 1 month, and he I won't say he acts like that, but I would say the picture that that I posted, the body type, when you talk about muscle maturity, that one that was neutered prematurely, man, he really looks like a puppy, a full-grown puppy. You know what I'm saying? His body's muscle and bone structure didn't get a chance to mature. I will say though that with Brewer, it makes a little bit of sense too, how he I don't want to say he's like a flighty dog, but he is. He's flighty and also a little bit irritable, but I would say the characteristic that speaks to me the most when it comes to him in the spectrum of him being neutered too early, I think it is I think him being like nervous or flighty is evident of an early neuter. So he's a tricky one, but He's doing good. Okay. Let's answer some more questions. Okay. I have to ask how Brewer is, of course. Oh, Brewer's doing good. And Katie Egan posted a picture of her dog. That's cool. Do you have a question about your dog? All right, my female is very submissive to humans and me primarily, but she's super weird and puts her head over your neck, or she will literally put her head in our larger dog's mouth. What's up with that? That's funny. Okay, so the dog putting your dog putting their head in someone else in another dog's mouth is submission. It's weird, but it is submissive behavior. And then I just think the dog maybe just a little bit, nothing to worry about or anything like that. I think the dog's just being weird as far as some dogs are just very, very submissive. And that's what they do. All right. Okay. My dog is fear aggressive with strangers, but he picks and chooses who to be afraid of. Any ideas? Yeah. So I was just talking to this lady on the phone about that, and my response was, you shouldn't allow your dog to be picky on who they get along with. They should respect everyone. They don't have to like everyone. They don't have to like every dog, but they should at least respect when you say in a maybe a strategic way, but when you say go lay down, that should tell your dog a few things. That should tell your dog that it has to go lay down. That should tell your dog that everything's okay. And there's no need to bark, growl, jump, bite, get excited or anything. So basically when you are telling your dog to go lay down when strangers are coming in, that shows your dog that you can take control of the situation, and they're more likely then to get along with said stranger. So, but my dog doesn't get to pick who they get along with. And I think that that's kind of a good way of looking at it, you know. Thank you for your question. Okay, Kathy says, my dog, Luke, a 1.5-year-old boxer, pity, Great Pyrenees mix, has just started to nip at people who enter our yard. He has an invisible fence and runs and chases the school bus, FedEx, truck, mailman, etc. along the fence line. In the past, he has taken treats from the UPS man, but today he nipped at his arm. He also nipped at a lady who entered my yard when I was in the house. Now I'm afraid to leave him in the yard unattended. Help! Okay, so when you are dealing with a dog who is free to take control of their environment, it is now your duty, responsibility, for the dog's sake, for the neighborhood's sake, for just society in general. It is your duty now to make your territory, your yard, your house, a safe space. Your dog um, is free to act how they want to act on your property when it chases school buses, when it chases this, chases that. And that leaves the door open for other bad behaviors like biting. So we have to stop the chasing in the yard. We have to get the dog to realize that the yard is a place where people can come and go, and there should be no reason for the dog to take control of that territory. It's your territory, and the dog is in it. And so you'll have to educate the dog on how to act. And that just takes time with you in the yard with the dog, telling the dog no. Most people think a trained dog knows how to sit down, stay, and all that. I'd say all of my clients' dogs know how to do that. Big deal. It's teaching dogs what not to do. If you had a dog that didn't bark, didn't bite, didn't chase, didn't jump, didn't counter surf, then you would have a good dog. It didn't matter if it knew how to sit, didn't matter if it knew how to down, didn't matter if it did none of that crap. A good dog knows what not to do, not necessarily tricks. And so you have to teach your dog what not to do. The dog must listen to you in order for the dog to learn how the world truly is, as opposed to his messed up perception of what it is. Or there's just one of two ways, and it's a little bit of both, but more so the dog it feels free to do this behavior. This is where you're going wrong. So in the house too, when it's just you and the dog and your family, make the dog listen to you much better at a high level. And then it'll start paying dividends. The dog will start listening to you when you're outside. But bottom line, you're going to have to spend time with the dog outside in your yard, getting the dog to listen to you, not chase, not bark, just listen to you. So feel free to give me a call or message me. I can give you even more tips on how to get that done, but I'd have to learn a little bit more about the dog as well. All right. Thank you for your question, and feel free to ask another. Kirsten said, both my dogs hate their nails clipped. Rousey freaks. Bubba, if he touched his paws, he gets out of the room and rolls on the ground. How do I create a less fear of clipping their nails, or positively enforce letting me clip the nails? You're going to have to get the dogs, keep the dogs from being able to run from you. You're going to have to clip their nails and not get the quick. And then your dogs are just going to have to experience it, not a few times, not being able to get away, but also experiencing that it doesn't cause them harm. So again, it's kind of twofold. Same thing. Dogs, if give enough fight, if a dog is fearful enough, that's enough of a drive to get out of a situation. And if a dog is used to getting its way, then it's going to do so to get its way. So same with the nails, or with the dog question previous to that. Bad behavior comes from two different places, but they're also very much so intertwined. So when you're dealing with nails, it's not so much fear, it's just, I just don't want to do this. Like, I don't. It's uncomfortable. It could be at the most uncomfortable, um, but they just don't want to do it. But if you cut their nails and you successfully can get them to stay there, then the next time gets easier. The next time gets easier. They will fight less and less if their attempt to get out of the situation doesn't work. So if you have to tie 'em, like all groomers tie dogs up, so tie them up somehow, put a leash on them. Do not let them escape. Do not let them win, even if you have to put a muzzle on them. Do that 3 times, and then the fourth time will be much easier. It'll get easier as you go, but the fourth time they should give no fight. They only fight if they know the fight's gonna get them somewhere. They won't fight if they know. They will sit there and deal with it if they know their attempt to get out of the situation is not going to work. Okay, Amy says, with Jordy, we have 2 neighbor dogs currently. He's fine with loose German Shepherd when we walk by. Interested, but never says a thing. The tiny white puff we pass, he goes absolutely off his rocker. Use a Hermspringer and consistency. He consistently, wait a minute. Use a Hermspringer and consistency. He consistently goes off over this tiny puff. The owner is sympathetic. Should we arrange walks together? Do total avoidance? Or I would try to create space with that tiny dog. So I would try to, on some level, avoid it by creating more space. Say, for example, I'm passing the dog. I'm going to cross the street if the dog's on the other side and try and obviously take control over your dog and make it so that his blow up is not okay. So there should be a consequence for him doing that. But there also should be not make sure that little dog doesn't come up to you guys, So that's kind of what I would do. My dog would not be allowed to go off on any dog, but I would also cater to my dog's the reason why the dog is going off. So I'd give my dog more space, and I would be cursing at that little white dog under my breath, because little dogs are the worst. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another. All right, let's keep it moving. My pup is a boxer mix. He is a rescue and about 4 months old. He follows me everywhere when I go in the bedroom or bathroom. I shut the door and he scratches at it. How should I handle this at this age? Give him some independence. Put the dog in a crate for a while. Let the dog nap away from you. At 4 months old, it's too young to be that insecure. Maybe it's not insecurity. Maybe it's just him being young. But the scratchy crap at the door, you should stop that too. It's just pushy behavior. And you shouldn't teach your dog that being pushy gets the dog what it wants by any means. So give the dog a break from you, and you take a break from the dog, just like a nap time. Put him in his crate while you're home, and just take a break. Obviously, do not allow the dog to bark in the crate. Do not allow the dog to scratch. Do not allow the dog to whine. The crate is a very much so a relaxation place, and the dog should be sitting. Should never be standing unless it's up to drink water or turn around, whatever. But the dog should not be anything but quiet in the crate, creating some independence from you guys, between you two, and that's cool. Okay, he never comes up to us, and I will avoid him in the future. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily like, my goal to get my dog to get along with every dog that goes nuts. Sometimes I'll avoid that dog with my dogs too. It's like I don't want my dog to continue to be nervous about something. Although again, what I have done sometimes is used my doggy don't with dogs like that, and that kind of works too. What's the best size crate for a dog? Should he be able to stand fully up? What is too big or too small? Your dog is staying currently in a Great Dane crate, so there's no limit to the size that's gonna do anything different for him. Yes, he should be able to stand up. Yes, he should be able to stretch out, do all that cool stuff. Um, so I would say an XL crate for your boy should do the trick. But you'll see the crates that he stays in now. They're nice and big. All right. Thanks for your question. I'm working with a client with a fearful, nervous 2-year-old, and she is making great progress with the Prong and e-collar and very dedicated owners. She's existing around people and dogs without reacting. She took him to the vet 2 times, and she goes into red zone when the vet tech starts with high-pitched voice and baby talk. How can I help her through this? I went with her once, told the vets to be calm and not rush him, and they listened 10%. She was muzzled and did okay, but as soon as the girl reached for her to give the vaccine, she started flipping out again. She did remain on the table and ended it with a massage and let her bolt off, but the vet tech was fumbling, nervous, and loud and didn't give any vaccines. So that's good that you went with the dog to the vet. The dog has got to be with someone that has a deep level of trust for the first 2 times. Sometimes I will go with a dog who is absolutely horrible at a vet because I can get the dog to relax. I can get the dog to listen to me, and I can get the dog to relax. So the dog has got to be handled in a manner, though, that they will accept certain things to happen to them, and that starts with the owner. So you can also inform the owner that, hey, you should start doing what they do at vets, which is teaching your dog to stay still, and also the handler learning how to expect that the dog will whip its head around to try and bite at the very worst case scenario, and knowing how to get the dog to not do that and become calm as well. So the owners have to have a very deep level of trust with the dog, so that the dog can learn. And also, yes, the vet needs to know how to um, not do what they normally do. Um, you can ask that this dog has particular needs, especially when it comes to someone walking into the room. It's just probably best that the vet ignore the dog, pay attention to the client, the human client, for a good 3 minutes until the dog starts to not pay attention to the vet, and then we can move forward from there. But, you know, when you walk into a room and the dog knows that you are paying attention to the dog. Some dogs don't like that. Some dogs some dogs do not like when someone walks in. Some vets some vets squat down and turn their back, and it's still all paying attention to the dog. So if I was a vet, I'd walk in, engage with the owner for a minute, um, until I could feel that the dog was not staring at me, wanting to bite the hell out of me. So, but it starts at home. Start working at sort of the vet protocol at home. That'll help. Okie doke. Good evening. How do you properly introduce a dog to other dogs? I recently moved, and there's a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, and my dog is always eager to meet them, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I know you said to never do any introductions on leash. Yeah, I mean, so if the dog is friendly, if the dog that you want to meet is friendly, and drop the leash, let him have at it. Just make sure the dog is friendly. That'd be good. Okay, let's keep it moving. I think we got them all here. Let me make sure. Oh, here we go. No, already answered that one. Amy says, "Here's my question: Do you still let your dog sleep on the bed with you like that?" No, I don't. That was when I was young, single, and ready to mingle. When I met my wife, the dog got the boot. And then ever since then, no dogs have been in the bed. I've got a Great Dane now. Ain't no way. And he would do it too if I let him. He would be in that bed very quickly because he's a big old baby. Big old baby. Okay. More questions. What do you do when the dog gets mouthy? He puts his mouth on my arm when he doesn't like something, such as putting on his prong collar or brushing him. He's a German Shepherd. I see that. Oh man. I would not let him do that. That's it. I would make sure that when he does that and you say no, he takes your word for it. That's it. Thank you so much for this weekly Q&A. It's very helpful. I'm wondering if it is safe to keep the prong collar on all the time. I've seen a few people say to only use it for walks, but my dog pulls whenever she's on leash. Yeah, you can keep it on longer than the walks. You can take it off at night. Basically, put it on anywhere where you need the dog to listen more. And then when the dog listens, and there's areas when the dog listens good, doesn't need the training tools. So good question. Okay, where are we at here? There we go. My dog eats grass. What's the reason? I don't know. I don't stop them either. If my dog eats grass, so what? As long as, I mean, even if they eat lots of it, it's probably for a reason. If they do eat lots of it, they probably need to throw up. I'm not going to stop them from doing that. It's something that they naturally feel they need. Then do it. What are you going to do if they need to throw up? Not let them get out what they're going to get out? No, I don't mind grass eating. I don't think it hurts them in any way. All right. Thanks for your question. And feel free to ask another. Okay. My human aggressive dog Tanner has no problems meeting people when he's meets them in his happy in his happy place. Our backyard pond. Inside the house is a whole different story. We can end up crating him the entire time we have visitors. Wish I could recreate the happy feeling inside the home. Thoughts? Yes. Give your dog a job to do that is non-negotiable inside the house so that he takes your leadership when he feels nervous. Basically, when a dog is nervous, it's questioning a lot, and you have to be the answer. So give the dog a job to do in the areas where the dog doesn't act like everything's okay. Doesn't act good while everything's okay. If in fact everything is okay, then we should be able to communicate that to our dogs. So give them something to do in that environment. And it's awesome when you actually can have that, because then you don't have to worry about who comes over and what your dog is doing. And the dog gets along with everyone. You take control for the first 5 minutes. Dog's like, "Oh, okay, cool. This is what I need to do. All right, cool." That means that the people who you're bringing in is also cool, you know? All right. Okay. Holy smokes, that's a long one. All right. My boy, uh, my boy has come a long way in being friendly and is not fearful of people. But today he had a setback. We were at the car dealership, and while he was great with everyone there, a man was standing up and had faced away to walk. Put my boy to sit, but he got up and pulled me over to sniff the guy, which startled the guy. As the guy turned around, it startled my boy, and he got nervous and started to huff and puff and barked at the guy. Then he walked back over to the guy and he pet him, but then my boy turned up and barked at him again and almost what seemed to nip at him. At that point, my dog started to bark each time another man walked into their waiting area. I hear you shouldn't pull your dog away from the person because it teaches the dog to be fearful of the person. But I don't want him lunging, barking, and nipping at people too. I've been told to help build his confidence, but I don't know how to go about doing this when he reacts this way. So just take more control over him. I would say it's horse crap to take to have the fear that if you take control by pulling him away, that it will cause more fear of other people. Well, the only thing that you need to fear in that situation is that the dog doesn't listen to you, because that's what's the most important. The dog is going to learn the world through you, through your lack of leadership or your ability to lead him in certain situations like that. I would not have allowed the dog to have that much freedom. It obviously can't handle it. So the dog should be by your side in that situation. And according to what the dog gives you, should um, you should either allow people to come up or not. So I think the dog does need a little bit of space from people through your leadership, and then see if the dog wants to friendly engage with people the same way, in that same look that he does with you. That because you know that the dog, your dog, you know what it looks like when he wants to be touched and pet. It it does it needs to see that it needs to be the exact same way before you allow him to be touched by strangers too. Don't necessarily allow him to be touched when he's not ready, because he may nip. And so your leadership though takes precedence over any environment, and your ability to keep people away for a while is also going to be key to success for you. All right. Thanks for the detailed question. That's going to help a lot of people. Hey, and feel free, guys, to answer as many questions or ask as many questions as you like. It only helps out other people who have similar problems, similar challenges with their dog. Okay. Eating grass is a problem. No. I once had a trainer claim that Schutzen or any play similar will make a dog like my dog more aggressive. Your dog is a Rottweiler. No, Schutzen training or police dog training will not make your dog more more aggressive. Especially if you are under guidance of a good trainer. It's fun if you have a dog who has potential, or just a high drive dog. Doesn't matter if it's a Rottweiler or anything. Just a dog who loves to play tug of war, or who loves to chase the ball. Then playing tug of war and teaching the dog to bite properly is not going to make your dog more aggressive. You're actually just learning how to give the dog an outlet to express their nature in a positive way. It's like an athlete that doesn't play sports but decides to act bad, or they play sports, gives them what they need, and then they don't act bad. Do you use e-collar tone for recall? Yes. E-collar, vibrate, all of it. Yeah, I'll use it all. And you're welcome. Okay, what we got? What else we got? Okay. My boy Charlie seems to be inconsistently anxious. Are there triggers I may not be aware of that could be triggering his stress? Yes. Try to learn those triggers. All right, Kenny says we have a dog at our rescue. That is fine with me, but everyone else that comes near me, he snarls and barks fierce. He shows aggression towards others, also, even at his kennel door. All right. So, what's your question? Hey, Jeremy, did you ever get to Bark and Brew? If so, seeing how busy it can be, how do you monitor your dogs there? If a bit of a snarky dog gets to be too much, do you simply push the dog away, or walk between, or how do you handle that when it's isn't your dog? Had a couple of dogs that's there that seem to want to target my dog when there. Ignores them so far, but we will have limits, and I don't want to get to this. So far, I've been trying to move them away with my body and calling him away. Other ideas? I mean, that's probably the best you can do unless you want to get real awkward, unless you want to get real uncomfortable. Um, and that's fine. I mean, I have corrected dogs that are being obnoxious with my dogs at the dog park. Um, and usually people don't get too offended, but I'm not going to, you know, it's hard out there. It's like, people are not educated to what's really going on, and you are, and you want to stop it. It's a tough situation. I don't know if I'd put my dog in that situation. How to get him to not do this? All right. So when it comes to the kennel, um, the dog uh, should be able to do something for whoever is letting the dog out. First of all, obviously, if you guys are giving the dog treats through the kennel door or anything like that, probably stop or give it time. Depends on how much time you got. I guess if it's a rescue dog, you don't really have that much time. So getting the dog to sit will stop that. And then opening the door, the dog should really stop it. Because sometimes it's barrier bravery that dogs display. 9 times out of 10, when you open that crate, the dog won't do anything. Um, but giving the dog something to do in the kennel helps create trust quickly and knocks off the bad behavior. As far as if someone comes near you, let's see how I would handle that. I would say that's a tough one too. You could give the dog some time and obviously maybe not let people come up to you and try and pet the dog. Or if you do want the dog to sort of be engaged with people, then you'd have to stand up and walk away from the dog when someone comes up. But yeah, maybe the dog seems to be a little bit possessive. Maybe a little bit possessive of you. But you can also tell the dog no as well in that situation, to help the dog realize that it can't do that. But that's cool that it's bonded to you, but now it needs to be open to others as well. So probably needs some time as well, but the dog should not be allowed to do certain behavior. Needs to know that it's wrong, you know? On one hand, it needs to know that it's wrong. On the other hand, give the dog the benefit of the doubt that it's maybe a new environment or a stressful environment. Uh, but if that dog was to come here and the dog was doing that crap in the crate, um, again, most dogs will listen to you if you open that door. Open that door, tell the dog to sit, and wait until the dog will sit, and then move out of the way and let the dog out. Do you use eco? Oh, I already answered that. So that's what I would do, man. Thanks for your question. And feel free to ask another. All right. I think we got time for one more. If you got one more question and you're just dying to ask it now or forever. Wait until next week. All right. One more. My girl, excuse me, my girl lab mix almost 2 has resource guarding issues, I think, but she seems to tease the other dog to get them to engage her. Okay. Well, when it comes to resource guarding, make sure that you are only stopping it if it does result into something you think it's going to result into, like a fight or something like that. You know, dogs are going to have to work out who gets what between them. You know, you're not going to be able to necessarily get them to share willingly like children. They're going to have to, you know, see who's more dominant anyway. So, you know, make sure that if they're just trying to work things out and she's certainly playing to do so, then I wouldn't see much of a problem with that. If the dog wants to play and then becomes resource aggression, just look to see if it's somewhat reasonable too, right? Don't obviously allow the resource guarder to cause harm to the dog, to any dog. So use your better judgment. And if you think your girl lab is taking it overboard, then you stop it. You know, you tell her no, and maybe she loses the privilege of the resource for a while. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's what I would do. All right. All right. Thank you for your question. All right, guys, we're going to end it here. It's getting a little late and I'm getting a little tired. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week and come with your questions. I appreciate you guys watching. Take care.